besties, and welcome back to my second channel. So I'm actually going to be doing probably my most requested video in a long time, which is, you know, my vinyl haul, which is just all the LPs that I have. Now, if you know anything about me, it is that I prefer listening to music on vinyl rather than on my Spotify. Now, I think the main reason is just, I've spoken on this before, but I'll just briefly go over it. I think it makes me more tuned in with the music, and it forces me to listen to entire albums at a time. And I think we live in a very single based world now, where it's like, you know, artists putting out quick rapid fire singles to kind of get promo and stuff. We never really get bodies of works anymore. So whenever we do get them, I like to enjoy them at their fullest. And I kind of wake up every day and I'm like, what mood am I in? And I go through, you know, my LPs. And that's kind of my favorite thing about listening to music on vinyl. Over the years, I've gone through different record players, and now I have like the Audio Technica LP20 or something like that. And I used to have one of those like suitcase ones, and I know they were really bad, so I've upgraded my system now and I'm really happy with it. And I have a lot of albums here. So within my collection, there are LPs that aren't open yet, and the reason for that is because I relatively recently redid my entire collection. So ones that aren't open are ones that, you know, I had in the past and I just replaced, or ones that, you know, I'm getting for the first time. But a lot of them will be opened as well, but we'll just go through them together. And I think this is going to be a really fun, chill video. I, again, just love music and I love talking about it, but I'm aware that this video could literally be like an hour long. So I'm going to try not focus on each individual album and just kind of be like, here's the album and then the next one, you know what I mean? So let's do it. So the first one I actually have here is Marina, Love and Fear. I love this album so much. I think this is a beautiful album. And it was one of the highlights of last year listening to that. I loved it so much. The next one is Grimes. Now, this is her Art Angels album, and this is probably my favorite Grimes album to date, and it sounds just completely beautiful on vinyl. Now, the next one is Rina Sawayama, my favorite album that was released last year by a mile, and Chosen Family is my favorite song ever, and Dynasty is my favorite song ever, two of them on here, and they sound phenomenal on vinyl. I'm hopefully seeing and meeting Rina this year. I don't know if that's going to happen though. Next we have Homecoming by Beyonce. Of course, this is a staple for any Beyonce fan. I think this entire kind of experience, I would call it, because, you know, it's a live concert, and I think it's just more than an album. And the box set is beautiful. I got that when I was in Dublin. That's definitely one of my favorites. Then I have Lust for Life by Lana Del Rey. Love this one. I love every single Lana Del Rey album. I actually went through a phase a couple weeks ago where I was just listening to Lana albums and being very depressed. Now we have, of course, a staple. I think every person who has a record player has this album, Born to Die by Lana Del Rey. Again, this album is pretty much a staple in anyone's collection, and for a reason. It is absolutely beautiful. Then I have Glory by Britney Spears. I hate this album cover so much, but I like the inside one. This one, like, this is literally a screenshot from a music video. They could have done so much better. However, great album by Britney, and it sounds amazing on vinyl. Next, we have another Britney. This is her debut album. It's kind of a picture disc. Love it. Very nostalgic. Sounds beautiful. Next, we have, in my opinion, the ugliest vinyl I have. It is Chromatica by Lady Gaga. Sounds phenomenal on vinyl, though. Like 911, Alice, Free Woman, and all the interludes sound brilliant on vinyl. However, this is just an extremely ugly vinyl. Like, who did this packaging? I've seen fan ones that are better than that. Next we have A Star Is Born soundtrack. Again, this is absolutely beautiful on vinyl. However, I don't like listening to this because it also includes the talking bits in between. And if I wanted to listen to the talking bits in between, I would have watched the entire fucking movie, not the soundtrack. So, I mean, it has, like, you know, like Shallow and all the other songs, but it has, like, the talking segments in it as well, and I really don't fuck with that. Like, again, it's literally, like, the length of the fucking movie. However, pretty songs. Then I have Joanne, which is probably one of my favorite Lady Gaga albums. It's very underrated. People just shit on this because she went country, but this album is very beautiful, and it has built into the songs as it is, you know, like the vinyl crackling. So it sounds even, just the experience, even more rich on an actual record player. I think this album is probably one of her best works. And next is probably her best work in my opinion. It is Art Pop by Lady Gaga. This is a beautiful vinyl. It is a very shiny one. This album, extremely underrated by critics, and I think all the fans love this one. This is definitely a must-have if you are a Lady Gaga fan. The next one actually is probably her best album, but I feel like a local for saying that. It is Born This Way by Lady Gaga. This was actually one of the hardest vinyl for me to get because this is the original pressing. I'm pretty sure they repressed it. But this album has, you know, like Marry the Night, Born This Way, Judas, Hair, Shiza, incredible Lady Gaga songs. Definitely a must listen for Lady Gaga fans. Next we have Sia. Now this album is called 1,000 Forms of Fear. Now my hamster actually chewed through this, which is nice. I love that. Thank you so much. Not Shelby, my other hamster. I love that album though. Next we have the only Demi Lovato album I like. Demi Lovato is not my favorite person in the entire world. However, this album is really good. It is the Tell Me You Love Me album. I think this is a beautiful piece of work. She did a great job on this album. I actually need to go back and re-listen to this sometime because it honestly is one of my favorite albums. Next we have one of the first vinyl I ever got. It is Bruno Mars. I think this is like an orange disc, and it's incredibly nostalgic. You know, like Grenade, Just the Way You Are, The Lazy Song, again, classics. Next we have one of my favorites on vinyl. This is Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. This, come on. I feel like this is pretty much a staple as well. This album is... Amy is a treasure and we miss her every single fucking day. Next I have The Greatest Showman soundtrack on vinyl. Now, this literally just has the songs, not talking bits, which I like. Again, I hate whenever they put the fucking, like, talking parts as well in it, because I don't care about that. However, this one is just, you know, like the songs like The Greatest Show, Never Enough, This Is Me, Rewrite the Stars. This is one of my favorite movie soundtracks ever. Next, I have Miley Cyrus. Definitely her worst album, but it's nice to have on vinyl because it's a country album, and especially being a fan, like I wouldn't not have it. So yeah, this was her country album she did back in 2015, I think, or 2016, and it has the song Malibu on it, which is definitely a popular favorite, but my favorite song is like I Would Die For You, She's Not Him, and I really like that album, but it's just definitely not her best. Next I have Solange. This album is beautiful. She is an incredible talent and definitely very underrated. That album is beautiful. Next I have Ultraviolence by Lana. This album is probably up there in one of my favorite Lana Del Rey albums. It's just so beautiful. I think Lana Del Rey music puts me in such a mindset, a very depressed one, but I love it so much because, you know, like when you listen to sad music and you just want to listen to sad music, that's me with Lana Del Rey. Next we have Lover by Taylor Swift. Definitely a career highlight for her, and very underrated actually. This album is just so beautiful, and again, sounds brilliant on vinyl. I actually had 2 copies of that. My last one, I accidentally smashed the LP, so I repurchased it. It sounds great on vinyl. This is the colored vinyl. I wanted to get the colored one. Next we have the Jackson 5 Christmas album. This is one of the best Christmas albums in my opinion. You know, like they do like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What other ones do they do? Someday at Christmas is brilliant on here. One of my favorite albums, and definitely one of my favorite Christmas albums. Next we have Kanye West. This is I don't want to say his best album because I really like the Sunday Service albums, but definitely one of his best. It's his best. This album is phenomenal. Now, this is actually the censored artwork. The original is a bit more, you know, explicit, but this album is great. And Kanye is a musical genius. As a person, you know what I mean? But, like, musical. Next, I have Celine Dion's new album, which is Courage. This is a fantastic album. Very underrated. I think people overlook this album a lot, but songs like Courage, Imperfections, Change My Mind, Say Yes, like those songs come right after each other and they're all so cohesive and beautiful, and I love them very much. Next, Lemonade, a classic by Beyonce, probably my favorite work of hers to date. It is, oh my god, what an album. So this actually comes with a book as well, which is very cool. I would hope so because this vinyl was one of my most expensive ones. But again, this album though is just a beautiful piece of work that sounds amazing on a record player. Next I have the Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Vol 1 soundtrack. This is just, it's a compilation. You like Hooked on a Feeling, the Jackson 5 are on here, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Great songs, and definitely a must-have for just people who like those older songs. Next we have I'm not going to say my favorite, but one of my favorite Christmas albums, A Christmas Gift for You. This is such a beautiful Christmas album, and this is like, embodies Christmas for me. You know, like old style singing, and by that I mean, you know, like really grainy singing, like really awful mic quality. That's what this album is. I'm selling it wonderfully, but it just sounds very old style and very what I think Christmas, you know, should sound like in songs, so I love that one. Next I have Dua Lipa's debut album. This is one of the first I got. Asia actually bought this for me, and I love this album. Like, Genesis is one of my favorite albums. Looking back though, this entire album was definitely just trying to be as radio friendly as possible. Nonetheless though, it's a great album. Next I have Kylie Minogue, Step Back in Time. This is a compilation album of, you know, her greatest hits, I Can't Get You Out of Your Head, Spinning Around, Love at First Sight, In Your Eyes, Slow. Great, a must-have for Kylie fans like myself. I love this one. I have a couple of Kylie here, actually, let me pull these out. I have her album from a couple years ago, Golden. This is a more country pop album, and again, I just think the country pop albums sound fantastic on record players. Now, this is Kylie Minogue Disco, which is her newest album. I have this 5 times. I have 5 fucking copies of this because the first 2 I got were broken. Then I went and bought myself a new one. Then TJ got it to me, and then one of my family members got me one. So I have 5 copies of this. I have the other one sitting out there. So if anyone wants it, hit me up. I can give you 4 copies. Next, I have Thriller by Michael Jackson. Of course, this is a beauty on vinyl. I love that one so much. Okay, now, on to my next couple. So I'm going to just lift these up and go with whatever ones come up here. So I have the Love, Simon soundtrack. This is, honestly, people are gonna shit on me for this, but I love this movie and this vinyl is beautiful. The songs on here make me so emotional, like Alfie's song, Roller Coaster, Strawberries and Cigarettes by Troye Sivan is one of my favorite songs of all time. I Love Me, I Want to Dance with Somebody, Someday at Christmas, Wild Heart. Honestly, beautiful songs on here that make me very emotional. 1989, Taylor Swift, a must-have on vinyl, in my opinion, for pop fans. That album is great. The Elf soundtrack, which my mum made fun of me for having, but the Elf movie is just so magical to me, and having it in vinyl form, where I could just play it in the background and hearing the instrumental, is something that was very important to me, and I made sure to have it, especially this Christmas, and I was just playing it in the background, and it made me feel very festive, so I'm allowed that. Lily Allen. This is her newest album, and it is so good. I think anything Lily Allen does is incredible, and that album proves it. Next I have Madonna, Like a Prayer. I'm actually working on getting her entire discography. I just have to get her, there's like 2 albums I've left to get. However, I have the rest of them. So I have Like a Prayer, great album. Madonna, the debut, great album. Madonna Erotica. This is one of my favorite Madonna albums ever. This was incredibly fucking hard to get. Pink Friday by Nicki Minaj, an absolute classic. Like, I'm just literally looking at the back of here. This is a classic. A classic. Like, songs like I'm the Best, Roman's Revenge, Fly, Save Me, Moment for Life. This was literally my fucking childhood, and I salute you, Barbs. I love you very much. Paramore, After Laughter. This album is great. I'm so happy that I listened to this, because Hard Times. I heard that on TikTok a bunch, and then I listened to that album, and I love it. Selena Gomez. This is her, whenever she did albums with The Scene at Hollywood Records whenever she was younger, and they repressed them on vinyl, they pressed them on vinyl for the first time. So this is Selena Gomez, A Year Without Rain. Again, all these albums are just incredibly nostalgic for me, and I love them for pressing them. So like, A Year Without Rain, etc. is on that. My only downfall for them is that they don't have the Spanish version of A Year Without Rain on that, which is kind of suckish, but I'll let them slide. Queen, Nicki Minaj, incredibly underrated album, in my opinion. I think it is a beautiful body of work, and definitely gets overlooked way too fucking much. Selena Gomez, her debut album with The Scene. Songs like Kiss and Tell, Naturally are on here. Are you fucking kidding me? Talk about iconic. Selena Gomez, When the Sun Comes Down. I remember this is one of the first albums I ever got. My dad bought this to me. Songs like Love You Like a Love Song. This was like her peak in Disney Channel. Like she was like at the top of the top in Disney Channel. Britney Spears, Blackout, pop classic. Literally one of the best pop albums in my opinion. Like Give Me More's on there. The Immaculate Collection by Madonna. Like Madonna's greatest hits. This album is a must-have for pop fans. Like Holiday, Lucky Star, Like a Virgin, Material Girl, Material Girl, Into the Groove, Live to Tell, Papa Don't Preach. It goes on to like Vogue, Rescue Me, Justify My Love. Literally, having them all on one is so good. Katy Perry's recent album that everyone hates on for no fucking reason, Smile. I really do love this album, and I think people look so deep into her music for no reason. This is just a good pop album, and I don't think it has to be any more than that. It's not that deep as an album, and it's also not that deep that a pop album has to go further. Like, for what? Rihanna, Loud. This was like red hair Rihanna. Remember when she was telling us about sex and sticks and stones may break her bones, chains and whips excite her, and we were singing it at 8 years old? That's that. Red hair? Girl, I'm speaking too fast. Red hair Rihanna is forever iconic, in my opinion. Madonna, Music, another Madonna album. This is a great album, like Music. This was like 2003, or no, 2001. This was 2001, because she did the VMAs Kiss with Britney around that time. Billie Eilish's album. This is, again, in my opinion, a must on vinyl. It sounds incredible. I think Billie Eilish, while people like to say she's overrated, you also need to look into her talent and realize for a reason that people are giving her the hype. Next, we have The Velvet Fucking Rope by Janet Jackson. This is honestly probably my top 5 favorite albums of all fucking time. This is beautiful and was the hardest to track down, because I'm pretty sure this is an original pressing from the 90s that came out in 1997. So that was really hard to get, and I'm so glad that I got it. Okay, the next set that I have here, sorry, there are so fucking many. Reputation, Taylor Swift. I'm gonna start putting them on my desk actually, so let me put this candle over here. Reputation by Taylor Swift. Great album. Also, don't stack your vinyl, you like stand them upright, but I'm putting this on my desk, so girl, just let me live, you know what I mean? Ava Max's new album. I actually really like this album. I'm yet to listen to it on vinyl, but I got this because I really enjoyed listening to it on Spotify. So, that's, you know, people overlook her because they're pissed off with the Sweet But Psycho song, but the rest of the album is really good. Next I have this, which is Disco Classics. I love that just because it's fun. That's it, it's not that deep. Next I have Lorde. This album is a beauty. I'm yet to open that, but it was honestly my most played album like 2 years ago. I just think anything Lorde touches she is a fabulous artist, and I never use the word fabulous. Rihanna, this album is definitely a moment. Diamonds, you know, Pour It Up, just Stay is on here. Definitely. I'm like doing that for all of them, but I genuinely mean it, you know what I mean? Next I have Meghan Trainor's album. I get shit on for supporting Meghan Trainor. Oh my god, I can't talk. Let me try again. I get shit on for supporting Meghan Trainor and like loving her. I think she makes really cute music. Again, it's not that deep, it's just fun pop. And this album is definitely really cute. Some of the songs on here are really fucking well produced. I really like that album. I would really recommend it. Next, I have Madam X by Madonna, which is her newest album. I really like this album. This was my most played album in 2019. Me and my friend Joyce. Next, FKA Twigs. This album, very short, however, gorgeous. Beautiful album. In the Zone, Britney Spears. Definitely, probably Britney's best work, in my opinion. Great album. Here we have Lily Allen. Fantastic album. Then we have, I think this is an essential, you know, I mean, Fleetwood Mac, The Greatest Hits. I don't have their individual albums yet. But I had the greatest hits because I needed to hear like Rihanna and Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way. I need to look into their music a bit more because I do just kind of know the hits as of right now. Then Britney Spears. Britney, this album is one of her best, I would say, in her top 5 of her discography, definitely. Fine Line by Harry Styles. This album is beautiful. I don't know if I prefer this album over the first one or not. I think I still prefer his debut. And this is his debut. I think this album is just, it's so beautiful, and especially on vinyl. He really did something with this one. I think the entire aesthetic of that era is gorgeous. Pink, Beautiful Trauma. fantastic album. I love and have most of Pink's vinyl because she's a great artist. My mom, that's one of her favorite artists, and I kind of just always grew up with her. So Pink, The Truth About Love, this is another great album. Pink, Funhouse, great album as well, very nostalgic, like So What is on there. Pink, Misunderstood, my favorite song on this is Don't Let Me Get Me, favorite song. Another Pink album, this one is great as well. My favorite song on this is, I think, Private Show and Can't Take Me Home. Next, I'm gonna get shit on for this, I don't give a shit. The 13 Reasons Why soundtrack, I just think the songs on here are so beautiful, regardless of your opinion on the show. Only You, Selena's cover of it, is gorgeous. Love Will Tear Us Apart, Bored, Kill 'Em With Kindness. My favorite song, probably of all time, is The Night We Met. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Madonna, Confessions, gorgeous, iconic, beautiful. That song has, or that album has like Hung Up, which you probably know, great. Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgia, this was surprisingly hard to get, I don't know why, but again, I love this album, and this album definitely reminds me, for better or for worse, I think for worse, of peak quarantine back in like March and April. So I can't listen to this album without being like mentally transported back to there, which I don't think is a good thing, honestly. Mariah's second Christmas album, Mariah Rainbow, I love this. Mariah Butterfly, I have 2 copies of this. Then I have this one, which is a picture disc. Mariah Daydream, Mariah Christmas, and Mariah Music Box. Now, I have all of Mariah's albums, but they're still in the process of arriving because her merchandise store is so terrible. No shade, but all shade, they're just so awful. So it's taking them literally months to send out albums. MTV Unplugged by Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey Emotions. This is the original pressing from 1991, and then this is the repressing of it from 2020. And as you can see, there's a difference in the colors here, which is definitely interesting. I think the repressing is definitely, obviously, like, probably cheaper to manufacture. Again, don't come for me for stacking these. I know I shouldn't be doing that, but let me live, darling. Mariah Carey, the debut album. This is the original pressing from 1990, which, 1990, which I think is pretty cool. Then I have Adele, 25. I think Adele on vinyl, like here, 21, is a must-have. Lana Del Rey. This album, Happiness is a Butterfly, makes me cry every single fucking time. That album is beautiful. I need to get the other stack, which are over here. So let me get these here. Okay, first section. These are the last couple. I have this and then them. Mariah Carey, The Rarities. This is a box set of her unreleased albums. Gorgeous, of course. Then another copy of the Christmas album, the second one. One of my favorites on vinyl, Lindsay Lohan, Speak, the queen herself. This is like her rock album, and the sticker on this said, like, as seen on MTV, which definitely shows the era that this came out, 2004. Mariah Carey, The Emancipation of Mimi. Here we go. I have 2 copies of this. One of them is a gold disc, and one of them is a black disc. Madonna, probably one of my top 5 favorite albums of all time, Ray of Light. Just a cohesive, beautiful body of work. Probably her best album, in my opinion. Dua Lipa, Club Future Nostalgia. I hated this at the start. It's basically like an 80s remix of every song from the Future Nostalgia album. I hated it at the start, but I actually love it. And on vinyl, it's an experience. Even just like this box set, but like listening to it, phenomenal. The Greatest Hits, Bonnie Tyler. This is an original pressing from, I don't know what year. I think it's 1986, maybe, that this was pressed, and it's an original pressing, and Bonnie Tyler is one of my favorite artists for no reason. The La La Land soundtrack, I love this one. Madonna, American Life, beautiful album. Actually one of her best, and everyone doesn't give it the credit it deserves. Hot Pink by Doja Cat, I love this album, it is very fun. Madonna, Bedtime Stories, this is a great album as well. As you can tell, I have like all of her discography. Madonna, Like a Virgin, and then the Madonna, True Blue. And then the last one in this like section, the limited color vinyl of Emancipation by Mariah. So as you can see, I obviously have both. And then the last section right here, I've been trying to go through this as quick as possible because there's so much and I don't want to be like, I love this album, this is why. I love this album, this is why. So here we have criminally underrated and hated on for absolutely no fucking reason, Witness by Katy Perry. Literally everyone just hated her in this era because she cut her hair short. This album is so fun and it has some really beautiful songs on there. Probably her best work is Katy Perry Prism. Some really deep songs on here. And the album is just beyond beautiful. The classic Teenage Dream by Katy Perry. This has, you know, songs like The One That Got Away, E.T., all those classics. Selena Gomez, here we have Revival. This album is beautiful. And then we have Rare by Selena Gomez. I don't know if this signed, no. I have a signed vinyl by her, but I keep it up there, aside from my other collection, but it's literally just this and signed. Then we have Ariana Grande, Yours Truly, her debut album. They recently repressed all of these, which I was very excited about, because this album is very nostalgic. I accidentally bought 2 copies. I don't know why I bought 2 fucking copies. If you want it, hit me up, I'll send it to you. Then I have My Everything, Ariana. Again, I love this album. It is definitely a more radio-friendly, trying to get hits album. However, nonetheless, still very iconic. Dangerous Woman. I just have such a soft spot in my heart for this album. It's so beautiful and sounds amazing on vinyl. Next is the album that probably sounds the best by Ariana on vinyl. It is Sweetener, this album. I hated it my first couple listens and I now think it's probably one of her best albums. Then we have Thank You Next. Now this is the final vinyl I am going to be showing you, right? I'm pretty sure. So the Thank You Next album, again, is another beautiful body of work by Ariana. So, whew, Jesus Christ, I tried to go through that as quick as I could. I love you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was, you know, you were seeing the different music I listen to. I mean, you're gonna get to see my music taste through that. Judge me in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this. It was fun just, you know, going through these. I actually forgot I had a couple of these. I love you. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. I will see you in my next one. And if you want to see my vinyl setup, whatever, just let me know and I can show you. Yeah, bye.